Welcome back to another tutorial. I promised that we were going to do the neck today, and we will, but it occurred to me I had not put the windows in on the BC deck yet. I hope you've been remembering to save frequently, File, Save, or just Control S. So right now we're going to throw some windows in the BC deck. So I'm going to highlight the BC deck. I'm going to move that to layer 2. We're going to move to layer 2. And hit Z to make everything transparent. Alright, now I also want those windows that I made before. I originally made them for the neck. Let's see, I think I threw the original copies here. Yes, okay, so I'm going to grab this and this because I want to keep them the same size. Shift D, right mouse click once, move to layer 2. So I've still got my originals here and here. And go to layer 2, and now we've got a squarish port and a roundish port. I'm going to grab those and move them up here a little closer to the BC deck. Not that it really makes any difference. Grab. And there we go. Okay. This is going to be a little different. It was really easy to line up the windows and ports with the saucer section because it's fairly regular. But if you remember, let's go to Z, the BC deck is not what you would call a regular shape. So it's this weird teardrop, flat on the top, rounded on the sides shape. So we're going to start off by Shift D and then grab one of these suckers and place it somewhere near the middle. So I'm going to place this right here and go 7, and you'll notice that it's right in the center, right where we left the original. I'm going to grab Y and move it out here. Now that's beyond the edge of the saucer, so I'm going to hit Z and I'm going to grab Y and bring this up until it enters the BC deck and back it out just a little bit. All right, cool. I'm going to hit 3. And we can barely see part of it here. I'm actually going to spin a little bit. Now, we got to keep in mind, the x-axis runs from front to back. So I'm going to rotate. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go down here, change the pivot point to bounding box center. So in other words, we're only going to affect this local copy of the window here. We're going to rotate X, and it disappears. So I'm going to grab Y, restrict its movements, pull it out a little bit, rotate X. Hey, that's better. All right, so I'm going to grab Y and move that about there. Okay, so if I go Z, I can actually see the upper edge, lower edge, and between those two, this would be about the middle here. All right, so I'm going to move it out Y. Grab Y, move that out a little bit. Z, all right, middle is about here. Z, hey, just about perfect. All right, so that's not so bad. And we can use this for any windows that go forward. So I'm going to hit Z, Shift D. I'm going to, now we're going to change this to 3D cursor. And the center of the model is pretty much the center of this anyway. So I'm going to rotate and align one with this window here. All right, let's go to Z and see how that shakes out. That's not bad. It's still within the body. 7, Z, Shift D, rotate, line it up with this, Z, and it looks pretty good. Let's go to 1, and it lines up there as well. So back to the top, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to rotate it a little. And now we might have a problem because this back is nowhere near as regular or even the same shape as the front. So let's go to Z, and we're pretty lucky. It still lines up fairly well, and it looks about the same as this, so we're going to call that done. 7, Z, Shift D, rotate, and we're gonna just completely lose it here. Obviously, it doesn't seem like it's the same rotation or anything. Let's go to 1. That doesn't line up too badly, but when we go to Z, it's basically disappeared. All right, so we're going to grab Y. Okay, there it is. So now we're going to, let's see what happens if we rotate X. Nope, I'm sorry, bounding box, center, rotate X. And it evens it a little more this way. But let's try rotate Y a little better. Rotate Z. Nope. All right, so we've got something not bad. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to kind of put that curve like a horizon, line up with our window, and I'm just going to hit rotate. So it's going to rotate in relation to our viewport. That's kind of edge on there. Not bad, not bad. Half in, half out, something like that. Let's go to 1. Yeah, but this orientation is all off. It does not look like it's lining up with these others. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of face on. I want to see this curve, kind of. And we're going to just rotate this so that it looks like it's aligned. I'm going to go to 7, Z. Well, it's a little more lined up. All right, so I'm going to rotate. Oh, I'm sorry. No. 3D cursor. Rotate a little more in line. All right, cool. That looks about right. Z. Okay, and it's still intersecting. I may need to move it back a little bit. But first, let's even this out. Oh, get rid of this. Make it bounding box again. Rotate just what we see in the port. Go to the side. That needs to get fixed a little bit. Rotate. All right, cool. Now, grab Y and move it back into the hull. All right, fine. Let's take a look at that. 7, Z. It's aligned. Let's go to 1, because that's what's important. It looks like it's aligned, and more importantly, these look like they are all lined up correctly. So that's not bad. We've got a bunch of more ports to do, but they are round. So let's grab this round port, Shift D, move it to somewhere where it should align with this. Of course, it's going to be in the center, so we go to 7. I'm going to hit Z, grab Y, pull it out until it makes an appearance here. So it's about halfway in, halfway out. And we're going to have to do the same thing we did here. So let's look here. I'm sorry. We're already on top, Eric. Z to make that transparent. And it's pretty much aligned with where the window should be. I'm going to grab it and move it just a tad over. 1. Yeah, that will align fine. Z, now let's do our rotation trick. So try and line that up as if it's a horizon. Zoom in here. And I want to face on with the front of that thing. So rotate. All right, now let's go from the side view here. That's definitely wrong, so rotate. Kind of even. All right, I'm going to grab Y. Grab Y. Okay, that's about, I don't know, about halfway out. All right, let's take a look here. All right, so that doesn't look too bad. As a matter of fact, let's smooth this and then edge split. We'll have to do probably this with each of them because I keep forgetting to go back and do that to my originals. So smooth. Let's just do them all. Smooth. 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 And then edge split. Edge split. Edge split. If I'd have done this with my originals, we wouldn't have to do this. Edge split. All right. And speaking of, for the rest of what we're going to do here, smooth and edge split, and then smooth and edge split. Okay, so these should look a lot smoother. But of course, that's just a rendering trick. All right, so let's go to 1, Z. We're still pretty much lined up with that port there. Matter of fact, if I... Okay, cool. Let's look at it from the top, Z. All right, not bad. Lines up pretty much with that location. More importantly, does it look like it's in line with these? And it does. It really does. That's pretty good. 1, Z. All right, cool. Now we're going to grab this one here. Shift D. Grab. And we're going to move it so that we know that it's aligned here. We're going to do another one over here. So, but one at a time, one at a time. All right, so 7, Z, grab Y, pull it out, and we see where it intersects. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to, bounding box is on. Rotate. Grab Y. There we are, half in, half out. Let's go to 3. Rotate around a little bit so we have kind of that edge as a horizon. And we're also edge on with the cylinder here. We're going to rotate in respect to the window. Grab Y. And there we are, half in, half out. Rotated nicely so that it's perpendicular to the hull. Let's go to 7, Z. So we intersect here. And yep, that's right where that port is. 1, Z. Here's where we intersect. Z, and that's right where that port is. Excellent. We're going to Shift D, duplicate this port again, grab, move it over here, align it with this circular port. Not too shabby. 7, of course, that's going to be very centered. Z, grab Y, so we're restricting the movement in this way. Now, we're going to have to do some serious corrections here. We want that center of the object basically meeting the hull. Okay, not too shabby. We want bounding box, which we've got. We're going to rotate. That looks about right. Let's go to 1. And we can see that that's not right. So we're going to turn a little bit. Rotate. And grab Y. All right. So that should be half in, half out, 1. Here's where we meet the hull, Z. And that's right where we wanted this port. Go to 7. Ho! That does not look right at all. All right. So we're going to change this from bounding box to 3D cursor. Rotate. And we're in line. But we are coming up against a fundamental problem. All right. So now, the plans don't exactly match. They're good plans, don't get me wrong. But this is halfway between that and not halfway. Okay, so I could rotate back about like that. So let's go to 1. Okay, so it's half in, 7, kind of half in the other way. Now, does it look right when we're in our 3D port? So let's look at it from the side. Yeah, you know what? It looks like it's in line with that port. Okay, it's certainly oriented correctly for this section of the hull. If we go to 3, we want something kind of off to the side here, just like that. You know what? That will do. That's not bad. All right, so I'm going to go to 7. Let's just duplicate this one. We're still centered on the 3D cursor. Z, rotate, and move over. Now, so we've got one, and what we're going to do is we're actually only going to do half of this. We're going to destroy the other half. We're going to cut in our windows, and then we're going to mirror again. So let's go to 3, and we realize that we are not up far enough yet. So I'm going to go to 1. We're going to rotate up. Actually, you know what? We're going to grab and move it. Let's go to the front for that. I went too far. Grab. Reminds me of a favorite movie quote. Some say he's gone too far. One moment. Sorry about that. I was interrupted. All right, so we're aligning this front window. And we can see that it's not quite right. I'm going to grab, and this would be going forward, so X. Move this till the center is right on the edge of the hull. We're going to do our lineup like we did before. All right, I think that lineup is actually somewhat wrong. Let's go 7. Take a look at that. Port. Yeah. All right. So it's not too bad. So let's try that. We're going to make sure we are in bounding box. Rotate. Grab X. All right, we're about half in, half out. Look at it from the top. Actually, let's go. That does look like it's about centered. All right, so 3, Z, that's pretty good. And from the side, that's pretty good. Okay, so now, let's move our original copies of this and this back to that other layer. It's kind of like a holding layer. I'm going to go, so we've got this Z, all of our plugs for, or drills, however you want to think of it, are all lined up for half of the BC deck. And we're going to do what we did before. I'm going to grab this. I'm actually going to move this to layer 3, the BC deck. And that leaves us with all of our drill bits here. And I'm going to grab the round ports, right mouse click, then shift right mouse click, shift right mouse click, shift right mouse click. I'm going to control J and make them one item. So if I pick something else and then pick this, all of them are highlighted. Then I'm going to do the same with the rectangular ones. Right mouse click to select one, and then shift right mouse click, shift click, control J. And they should all be one object now. Okay, great. I'm going to go here, BC deck, and before we actually do much of anything else, well, first we're going to cut it in half, and then we're going to apply solidify to it. All right, so here we are looking at it. We can see that we've got our center line, so we're going to keep the center line. I'm going to make this Z. I'm going to put my cursor just above that center line. B to select, left mouse click, and pick vertices all the way down. So I know that I've got all the ones here in the front. The second ones are selected. The center line is left undisturbed. I'm going to run down here and take a look here. Same here, center line is undisturbed, and everything above the center line has been selected as far as I can see. So we're going to, actually, before I do that, while I've still got this selected, I'm going to shift D and move it to the 4th layer. So we've got a copy. Okay, so here's our original Tab. We've still got half of everything selected. We're going to hit X and select vertices. Make sure to save a copy. Okay, so at this point we could even File, Save, or Control S. Now that we've got it halved, cut in half, I'm going to hit Z and spin around, and you'll notice it's impossibly thin. It's like a sheet of paper, except even a sheet of paper actually has a thickness, and this does not. So we're going to, it's not really necessary, but going to go to Add Modifier, and we're going to pick, not Subdivision Surface, we're going to pick Solidify. Now, I'm also going to add Edge Split, just so that it makes that edge sharper, and we can see what the thickness is. So it's not really very thick. So let's go up here and make this, instead of 0.01, let's make it 0.02. We've just doubled it. It's still not all that thick, but not bad. It'll give us something to work with. We're going to hit, we're going to tab out, and you know what? I'm not even going to apply yet. All right. So this is fine. We've got some thickness. We've got nice sharp edges, and we've got our plugs here. So I'm going to Shift D, copy it, move a copy to layer 2, and let's go to layer 2, 7. All right. So now we've got our copy of half of the BC deck with its solidify and its edge split. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut out the, well, we're going to cut out the windows, and we're also going to make a cutout of the windows. So we'll do that actually first. So we're going to add another modifier. This is going to be Boolean. And I'm going to move that up. And intersect is good. So we're going to, as a matter of fact, before I do that, I'm going to Shift D and make another copy. So intersect, we're going to grab, say, the square windows and apply. Okay, cool. I'm going to make another copy, Shift D, and we're going to do Boolean, and we're going to grab the round windows, intersect, and apply. Okay, cool. So now, let's go to Z. We can actually see what was highlighted. So there's where our plug and the thickness of our hull met. And they're actually still highlighted. So I'm going to move them down here to below the second layer in this other layer. And then I'm going to do the same with the windows. So I don't want the actual tool. I want what we cut out of the hull, which is right in line with the hull. Nice. We're going to move that down to that second layer as well. And then we're going to do one last one. We've got one last copy. And this time we're not going to do intersect. We're going to do difference. And we're going to pick the round windows and apply. We're going to move the round windows, move. Then we're going to do the same thing with the rectangular windows. So we're going to add modifier, Boolean, move it up. Difference, pick the square windows, apply, grab those plugs, move them out of the way of those drill bits. All right, so here we go. We've got a thickness, and it's applied a thickness to the back. And so that's not bad. We can fix this. So we're going to apply and apply. Tab A to deselect everything. And what we're going to do is we're going to delete these back vertices here, which are just not necessary. So that's okay. That's a little weird, as a matter of fact. But some of these things can just be deleted. Z. The hell is that anyway? I don't want any of that. Alright, so maybe we'll do Alt, select. Wow, and we're going to delete those X vertices. Let's do it again. Alt, select, X, delete vertices. Alt, select. Wow. You know what? It's because of the thickness. All right. Actually, this isn't all bad. We haven't gotten rid of anything. Tab. You know what? I'm going to get rid of this. So X, delete. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to get rid of all these windows that we created. B, delete, because we can actually make this a lot easier. I'm going to go and grab one of my copies here where we haven't applied everything. I'm going to get rid of thickness and edge split. All right, so Shift D. We're going to move a copy to the second layer. Then we're going to go get those windows. So here's our round plugs. Move to 2, layer 2. And our square ones, move to layer 2. And let's go back to layer 2. All right, cool. So we're going to make a couple of copies. Shift D, Shift D. Okay, cool. Now, with none of our thickness on or anything like that, let's do our intersections. So Boolean, intersect, grab the round ports, failed to set value. There we go. Okay, so we've got our intersection with the round ports we're going to apply. So that took away one of our copies. Let's pick another copy. Boolean, pick the rectangular ports, apply. Okay, great. So now it should be very easy to see. Our original plugs are actually higher. All right, we're going to move. Again, we're going to do what we were doing before. We're going to move these intersected windows to the second layer. We're going to do the same with the intersected windows for the round ports. Move to the lower second layer. Okay, cool. Now we're going to go 7. Z, because I want to see this. And we're going to do some more. This is our last remaining BC deck. If I grab that, yep, it's the only one left. We're going to hit Boolean. This time we're going to change it from intersect to difference and pick, say, the round ports. Apply. And one more. Boolean, difference, selector, pick our square ports, apply. Once again, we're going to move our drill bits out of the way. Move our drill bits out of the way. Hit this, add modifier, edge split. All right, cool. We'll have some cleanup to do, but it won't be quite as bad. So I'm going to hit Tab, deselect. All right, this should be much easier. All right, so we're going to go back here. I'm going to grab one of these verts, Alt, right mouse click, and then we're going to X, delete all these verts, and then we're going to do it again. Alt, X, vertices, and we are left only with the outside. Now we've got some cleanup that we'll have to do, but not too bad. At least everything's in place. We don't have that wacky geometry that we had. So grab a vert, Alt, next vert, X, vertices, do it again. Alt, next vert, X, vertices, and not too shabby. Hang on one second. And we're going to do the same with each of these windows. Just delete all these back faces. Actually, it's an interesting thought. If I go to faces, select this, go over to vertices. They're all selected. X vertices. Ha ha. All right, still have to do it though. Pick one, Alt, pick the next one, X vertices. Good. Backface is gone. So either way, it doesn't seem like one is any easier than the other. Alt, click, X verts, Shift, Alt, click. Whoops. Alt, there we go. X verts, and so on. All right, I'm going to leave you so I can continue deleting these. You got the idea, and we'll meet up again as soon as I'm done. My Windows back faces have been culled, so to speak. They've been deleted. If I tab out, that's actually not bad. Now I'd want to go through and correct a little geometry, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Let's line up with the front one here. This is one of the worst offenders. Like this one seems, no, I'm going to have to do it to all of them. But let's make an example of this one here. So we've got our hull selected, tab out of it, and we can see that we've got a bunch of what are called N-gons. N like Nancy, gons, short for polygons. And Blender does okay with N-gons, but it's not great with them. And, of course, all 3D software seems to really like tris and quads, which we went over before. So let's see what happens when I do this. Okay, not bad. What we're going to do is we're going to correct some of the geometry here so that we've got quads and tris leading all the way around. But first thing we'll have to do is we'll have to get rid of these faces. Now, it's a little weird. I don't know how anybody else does this, but I'm going to grab one edge on this section for this port. I'm going to X delete edge, which leaves all my verts in place, but it has the added benefit of getting rid of the face. So now I'm going to go back to my vertices, and since this is actually my lower edge, I want it back. So I'm going to click, right mouse click on one vert, right mouse click on another, and I'm going to pick these two verts down here because I want it to connect up. I'm going to hit face, F for face, and then I'm going to do the same for, say, here and here. I think that that'll make a good face for here and here. Face, okay, not too shabby. And I'm not going to overlap any other geometry. It also means that I can hit this here and here and make a tri. Then I can make a bunch of triangles to fill in here and all the way around. So I'm going to complete one of these, and then I'll pause it, do the rest on the other faces where this intersects. I'll pause the recording and come back when I am done, and we'll take a look and see how this looks, and you'll actually see what it should look like when we are finished. So everything is going to look like this all the way around this port. I'll be back. All right, it looks like the Boolean messed up the geometry a little bit. It's nowhere near as flat as what I wanted, or as smooth. I'm curious about something. Get rid of that. Nope, doesn't make any difference. Let's add a solidify. Put the edge split below it. We still have the same situation. I'm going to have to think about this for a minute. It occurred to me, I don't think I'd have this problem if we had a denser mesh. So I hate to do this, guys, but I'm going to go through creating the windows on the BC deck one more time. Only we're going to add more subdivision surface to the original model before we start cutting it to pieces. All right, so in order to do that, I don't need this anymore. Okay, we won't need these windows. All right, I've got my original copy here. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to get rid of this too. And I'm going to make a copy of the original, Shift-D. We're going to move that to the second layer. I'm going to go grab my window plugs, the round ones, move to 2, square ones, move to layer 2. Okay, cool. Go back to layer 2. Everything's all lined up. But we're going to give ourselves some more geometry to work with here. So tab, I'm going to deselect everything. Let's see what happens when we go and we hit another subdivision surface. Doesn't look like it did anything. Ah, it did. Okay. So add modifier, subdivision surface to, let's get rid of the Z. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's a lot. Let's cut it down to 1. No, you know what? I'm going to keep it with the pretty dense mesh. All right. So we're going to tab out of this so that we can apply. Let's go to Z, see if it really messed anything up. We might have some smoothing issues, but we can deal with that in a little bit. Actually, tab A7. We could grab all of this, C. And I want to make this even. All right, and is that into the curve? It is. So I've selected too much. Let's just go to here. Ha ha. Nice going, Eric. I just want this interior set. That's still too much. That's interesting. Anyway, I wonder if we can smooth that. Not bad. And we're going to have the bridge covering a lot of it anyway. Anyway, so we've got a much denser mesh. Going to make deleting half of that a little harder, but not much. All right, so I'm going to Z. I've got my cursor just above the center line there. Going to hit B. left click, drag it out, and pick half the verts. Alright, so I need to pick some more. B. Okay, good. Got all of those. The rest of this should be easier. B. We grab this. Now we work on the back half. B. B. Remember, we don't want to grab any of the center line. That's this line here. So we do want to include these. B. And grab this last section. B. Okay, we have half the saucers, half the BC deck selected. X verts. And we should have really dense mesh here, but it should make for better Booleans. All right, so I'm going to make a couple of copies. Shift D, and Shift D. Another copy, and we're going to move a copy of that off somewhere where we can go find it again if we have to. All right, so I've got 3 remaining copies here. We're going to do 1 intersection for each type of window. That's 2 windows, and then 1 difference. So let's go to 7Z. Modifier, Boolean, intersect, selector, grab the round window, apply. Now those are highlighted, so I'm going to move those off to that second lower layer. All right, cool. Add modifier, Boolean, intersect is fine, selector, grab the square ones, apply. Those are now highlighted. Move those off to the second layer, get them out of the way. All right, cool. So 2 of the 3 copies have been moved. Add modifier, Boolean. We're going to pick difference this time. Selector, grab the round windows, apply, move the round windows out of the way. And then Boolean, difference, rectangular windows, apply, move the rectangular windows out of the way. And what have we got left? Okay, we've got the same issue that we had before. So A, to deselect them all, I want you to delete the back faces, and then I'll be back. 2 more to do. Whoops. 1 round port, 1 rectangular port. So I'm looking at it from the back side. Grab 1 vert, Alt, grab the next vert. It should select all of them in that line, X vertices. Then sadly we do it again, Alt, X vertices. And it looks like the geometry clears up a lot when we do this. Alt, X vert, Alt, right mouse click, X vert. Okay, cool. Let's go take a look. Tab. Much better than before. Okay, it needed the geometry. All right, so I'm going to shift. Actually, no, I'm just going to click on this other section here, and we've got these windows that are actually 3D plugs. So we're going to, let's just grab them all. B, move to the second layer. All right, let's go back to the second layer. I'm going to grab, say, just the square windows. I'm going to go to Add Modifier, Edge Split. Is that actually okay? It's okay on the bottom. It doesn't look okay up top. All right, so let's get rid of that. And as a matter of fact, this is, well, you know what?
I'm going to move them back to my lower second layer along with the round ones. Move. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to do exactly the same thing we did with the BC deck itself. We're going to cull the back faces. Alt X. And yeah, we have to do it twice. Ha! Remove doubles. And then mesh, normals, recalculate. Okay, tab. Who knows? Actually, it looks pretty decent. Alright, go to the next one, tab, deselect everything. Actually, you know what? There's a faster way. I'm going to line this up so I'm looking at this window kind of edge on for the back. I'm going to go to Z, B, select everything, X, verts. Cool. That was quick. Now, 7. You got to make sure that you're deleting the back. So I don't want to delete the front. I only want to delete the back. Tab. Matter of fact, C. I'm going to pick the back. Verts, X, vertices. They're gone. And same with this one. I just want to make sure that I'm not deleting the front. This is the front. I could do it this way. C, select these. X, verts. And now I'm all set. I can readily see the difference between front and back. I've already deleted some of the back. C, select the remainder. X, verts. Okay, cool. That's all the round ones are done. Next, nice, very nice. All right, we're going to do the same with the rectilinear windows here. These are the backs. Let's look at this one, kind of on edge from the top. Z. I could probably do this with a B. All right, so B, select these verts, X, vertices. Move on to the next one. C. Just select the back ones. I don't want any of the front ones selected. X. Vertices. Just the back ones. C. You can control the size of this by scrolling your mouse wheel. X. Vertices. Last one. C, X vertices, X vertices. Okay, cool. Now, for all the rectangular windows, I'm going to select all the verts, remove doubles, mesh, normals, recalculate outside, tab. Same with the round ports, tab, A to select all of them. Remove doubles, there should be nothing left, and mesh, normals, recalculate outside. Okay, cool. Tab. All right. So we've got our round ports. Our let's go to the materials, since I think we're going to keep these and get rid of hull gray on it, and we're going to pick glass. And we're going to do the same with the rectilinear windows. Get rid of the hull, texture, add glass. Okay. Excellent. Once again, act of faith. Select all of this, move to layer 2. Go to layer 2. And Z. Ah, everything lines up. Now I really want some thickness to all of this. So let's try highlighting the saucer section. I'm sorry, BC deck. I'm going to look up top first. Oh, I've somehow moved my cursor, so I also want to take care of that now. Shift S, cursor to center. All right, good. And my origin, you can see this little orange dot here, is still at the center of my mesh, which is how I want it. We're going to go back to modifiers, add a modifier, mirror, and we're going to pick Y. All right, cool. And turn on clipping. All right, so now we've got what looks like one mesh again. It's not really. We'd have to apply this. And what the heck? Apply. All right, so now we've got a BC deck. That's good, but we should also mirror the windows. So the rectangle windows, add modifier, mirror, Y, apply, and the round ports, mirror, Y, apply. Okay, so now we've got solid pieces, round ports, the rectangular windows, and the hull. The hull, I want to add some thickness to it. So we're going to go in here, Boolean, not Boolean, modifier, solidify. Let's take a look on the inside. Make that 0.02. Apply and throw in an edge split. Not shabby. All right, we're going to do the same with the rectangular windows. Let's look back here. Add modifier. Solidify. 0.02. It exactly fills our hull. Apply. And finally, the round ports, same thing. Add modifier, solidify, 0.02. Apply, and we'll throw on an edge split. Apply. We'll do the same with the rectangular windows. Add modifier, edge split, apply. Okay, and apply. So now we have a BC deck with windows. This took a lot longer than I thought. I don't know why. It always takes longer than I think. So now I'm going to make this transparent. B to select everything. So I've got all my windows, my round ports, my rectangular ports, my BC deck. Move to layer 1. Let's go to layer 1 and also deselect everything by hitting A. Click on our lower number 1 layer, and let's go grab a camera. Alrighty, I'm going to render this out, and I'll be right back. Here's a render of the side of our saucer section, complete with windows in the BC deck. I think that's looking good. Got to get out of that. F11. Whoops. F11. Okay. Z. I'm only going to restrict this to our first layer. Hit 1. And just take a quick tour around. We are not in orthographic view. You know what? That's really looking pretty darn nice. So we've got a pretty good BC deck, good bridge, sensor dome up top, turbo elevator, linear accelerator complete with fins. We've got our lighted ports cut with glass in them, windows cut with glass in them, the impulse engines with impulse vents cut and the circles cut, and all the lower windows cut in place, and the lower saucer and the 2 triangles ready for texturing. Now, if you want, you can always take a quick shortcut and see how things are going to look lit. Now, this is a cheat, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick any one of the windows because they all use the glass shader. So we didn't do any real modifying to this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the glass shader to emission, leave it at 1, and then do the same render. Be right back. Oh dear, I didn't pause. Anyway, I included in the light layer, I forgot to do that. I rendered the thing, and I made the glass actually an emission source. So all the windows are actually lights right now. It doesn't look realistic, but it does give us a different look to it than when everything was just black, and you were seeing through to the interior. And if I did a render from top side, we would also see these 4 lights around the edges also light up. So I'm going to go back to glass. I'm going to take the emission and turn it just back to glass, and we're done. We're back to where we were before. So good job, everybody, if you've still been following along doggedly. And next, actually, I promise, will be the neck. See you next time.